Well, hello, everybody. It's the Pearlo Wisdom Show. And I got the Manscaped stuff going on here. Manscaped. Make sure you head over there. As you can tell, my voice is a little weird still. But, so, the Chicago Blackhawks, I was just reading an article. Lauren, how you doing, buddy? I was just reading an article on the Chicago Blackhawks. And, where is it now? No, that's not it. Yeah, here we are, Chicago Blackhawks. And Blackhawks and Fleury are talking extension, apparently. There is a deal in place between Chicago and goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury that a trade will not be considered unless he comes to the team and asks for one. Right now, Fleury is focused on the Blackhawks reaching the playoffs. Okay. So he's got to ask for one. Drager also expects there will be contract extensions between Fleury and Chicago. He's a pending UFA. Now, why in the world? And then to top it all off, the team has reportedly deemed Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, and Seth Jones untouchable in trades. So it's clear the organization is not rebuilding. That's what they're. This was in the Hockey Writers. The Hockey Writers. Who wrote it? Marc-Andre Fleury. Okay, he didn't say where he got this information from. Darren Drager. Darren Drager saying this. Hey, how you doing, Kyle? Mike Hennigan, welcome in, man. Thanks for coming in, guys. Make sure you pound in that like button. So, apparently the Chicago Brass, and I believe his name is Davidson or David, something like that, the general manager. I kept on wanting to check that out. And they said that yeah, but I mean, how Toews is getting, like, let's bring up Chicago here. So when he said I had a different philosophy than the previous, does this seem wise to you? I don't know. Jonathan Toews is 33 now. Yeah, he might have 3 more years left. Maybe. He seems to have been kind of on the decline. Kane, I guess, yes, he'll be a point-a-game guy for a while. Maybe that's what they're going to do. I was going to do a bit on Fleury getting traded, but there's another way to look at it, I guess. Kane and Toews have they have a no movement clause, so it might have been made quite clear by both of them that they're not going to accept a trade to anywhere. In which case, you have to say they're untouchable and you move forward from here. But are we? Yeah, DeBrincat is a beast, no doubt about that. I thought Kirby Dach would be better than he is this year, but he's only 21 years old. Man, I don't know. Marc-Andre Fleury. Like, if they give Marc-Andre Fleury like a 3-year deal or something, maybe he's like, who else is going to give me a 3-year deal? But do you honestly see a contender here no matter what they do? With that lineup, do you see a contender for Chicago? Yeah, there's a good one. Mercer. Yeah. I mean, if they're going to do that, a guy like Chychrun, a young defenseman like Chychrun, might as well. If you're not going to rebuild, why not package your first this year? Or wait, never mind. You don't even have a first this year. You gave that up for Jones. So I don't know what kind of package they could put together to get Chychrun. They're going to want Kirby Dach. And, you know, I look at their prospect pool and they're not really swimming in them. So, yeah, sure, you could probably be competitive if you keep everybody and you pick up a winger or two and maybe one good defenseman somehow. Somehow, with what, though? You're going to trade firsts and stuff to get these guys? I think they're in a really bad spot. If Taves and Kane are like just saying, I refuse to be traded, no matter what. I suppose, like I've said before, Fleury can take you places you never thought you would, but I don't look at this lineup and give them much of a chance to ever be going up against Carolina, Tampa Bay, even Colorado, and possibly Florida. Now, I was going to talk about Florida a bit today. You saw what they did to Edmonton last night, but I mean, Edmonton, that was just bad goaltending. Edmonton played about as good as you can about Florida. But something I noticed about that Florida team is I'm a little concerned if that Florida team is really made up to be a playoff team. I think there are teams. I saw a way. I see ways that you can expose that Florida team. They're not really super strong defensively. Bobrovsky is playing well enough that they could do okay. And when they're at home and it's a regular season and they can just crash, like work on pace in the offensive zone is fine, but that generally isn't going to hold up in the playoffs as we've seen over and over again, right? Eventually, you also have to be able to play different ways. And I don't think Florida is that yet. Like, they're not in that place like Carolina is, where you can play like any way you want. In fact, I would even say Carolina could use another player or two that's more known for that type of thing, more playoff type hockey. But Tampa Bay is another one. I can't really put them there. He's Spencer, what's his last name? Chicago. Yeah, well, they already did spend the pick. They can't trade this pick because they could at the deadline, I guess. How does that work? They gave their pick to Columbus. I got to work. And it's more than likely that pick is going to be used. Spencer, what the heck is his last name? Let me look up what Whitehall was asking me first. He's got some pretty good AHL numbers this year. Here he is. Spencer Martin. He has some pretty good AHL numbers this year, but it's been really the first year that he's actually put up some decent numbers. So is he just coming out of his shell right now? I don't know. There's not much I can say about that. Oh, wait, I had it in Chicago already. I'll just look up Chicago, go back here. Pick traded away on July. Oh no. Okay, pick traded away, but I was pretty sure there was a stipulation to that. Pick traded away. Look what? Clicked a few. 2021 first round pick. Condition: if Chicago wins one of the 2022 draft lotteries, and the lottery win results in the pick being a top 2 overall, the pick becomes a 2000. So they're pretty much, I mean, it's possible that if it's a top 2 overall, Chicago keeps the pick. Then they can trade it, but I mean, that's going to be one hell of a player. Possibly. But really, do you want to pick a guy that's not going to be ready for 3 years if you're going to keep, that's the thing. If you're going to keep, no, it's not Spencer Knight, it's Spencer Martin for Vancouver. Spencer Knight for Florida. If Chicago is doing what they say they're going to do, if they're being totally honest here, and they're saying that they're not going to trade Taves and Kane, and they're going to re-sign Fleury, what good is grabbing their first-round pick this year? Even if it's a top 2, neither one of those guys are supposed to be ready. Maybe the number 1, but the truth is, McKenzie just did his draft thing recently, and 9 out of 10 scouts don't have Tyler Wright, or is it Tyler? They don't have Wright as the number 1 pick. They have a Russian kid. That Russian kid won't be ready for 2 years probably. Wright's having a tough year this year. And if he's having a tough year this year, he probably won't be playing his first year either. Maybe the second or third year. So, if you're going to do that, you might as well trade the pick and get a guy like what Mercer said. Go get Chychrun. It does, if they're going to keep those guys, they're probably not going to get those guys. Yeah, I think Chicago had, if Chicago's going to keep Taves and Kane and all of these guys, they're probably in that boat of being somewhere around a playoff team. You got to take into consideration this year that they had all that crap happen and it ruined the room for a while. So I say trade the pick if you're going to do that. I don't really get what they're doing. Churchy to the Panthers? What do you mean? Oh, Chychrun to the Panthers. Yeah, there has been talk about that. They could put a good package together for him too. I think it would be a good move for him to get him for sure. Oh yeah, for Columbus, yeah. That was an awesome move for Columbus. For them, it'd be like, hopefully it's like 3rd overall. Actually, yeah, like Columbus is probably hoping that it's a top 2 pick and they get next year's number 1. Maybe, I don't know. But especially with Kekalainen and the way he drafts, that was a risky move. That was a risky move. So I don't know. I just thought that was quite the story there. Well, we'll see what they do. But I mean, I do love Kirby Dach. And of course, you know, like you said, you got to Brinkat there. Let's see what they got coming up. Dylan Strome's probably going to be traded away. He's just not doing it there. Dominic Kubalik is okay. Doesn't look like he's again, it was a tough year. Give him another shot. He looked like he was going to be a 30-goal scorer. But besides that, like Philip Kurashev, I don't even think he's going to get a contract again. If he's not scoring, he doesn't do much. Mackenzie Entwistle has played very, very well. That's a guy that I think will fill a spot. Down in the minors, I did like just Josiah Slavin, but he looks more like a fourth liner. And Lucas Reichel played pretty good when he was up at 19. But they don't have really all that. Ian Mitchell isn't panning out the way they wanted. Nicholas Dwan isn't panning out the way he wanted. I thought Matt Kalniak would play more this year. I mean, all those guys look like they could play, but not knock you out of the park. Like, not knock it out of the park guys that make you go like, oh, they're set because they got this guy, that guy, or another guy. You know, they're not stacked in prospects that blow your mind or anything like that. I really don't understand what they're saying here. I think they're setting themselves up to be a team that's a bubble team every year. I think they're going to sign Laine. As long as Laine wants to sign. But Kekalainen keeps things under his hat pretty good. He doesn't really, you don't hear too many rumors going on about Columbus and what they're going to do. So, but I don't know. I get a feeling they're going to sign him. It's just a feeling. Just by watching him on the ice, I think he likes Larson and the way he coaches. He's got a very offensive type of game. And I mean, if I were him and they were offering, you know, good money, I would stay if I were him. Because Kekalainen is a genius. He's going to bring in some really solid pieces there to play with them. So, if I were him, I would sign him for sure. So, I guess the other big thing now is, like going into last night's games. The big game, of course, and I mean, what everybody's what most people are talking about and should be, is the Oilers game, right? I mean, Koskinen is just, he doesn't even want to be there. The Oilers played pretty well last night, for no doubt about it. They're always going to have defensive breakdowns, but Florida was the kind of team that they could usually beat because Florida plays a very high-octane offense, and they can get run and gunning, and guys like Draisaitl and McDavid should be all over that. But they couldn't score to save their life, and their goaltending is just porous. They're going to have to do something. I don't know what they're going to do. They got goals from everybody. I think Anthony Duclair is hurt again. He'll be out for a while. He looked like he got hurt last night. But I didn't really see a problem with the Oilers game last night. And usually, well, except for the fact that this is one time for sure that the goaltending was the issue. Defense wasn't that terrible. And I don't know what they're going to do, especially if Fleury's off. I just did a short here already about it. I do think if they don't do something with their defense, getting an average goaltender isn't going to help. Barry got hurt. Well, that could be for the better. Yeah, that's right. He did get hurt last night. If they just get an average goaltender, like if they go get Corpusala, who I don't even think is average, I don't think they're getting any better. I think the guy they need is Marc-Andre Fleury. And now, by the sounds of it, he's not even leaving Chicago. Hey, Hockey News Reports, how are you, man? Yeah, I had Boston to beat the Caps, too. The Caps' depth is really not very good. And playing against a team like Boston, who's on a roll, I also I had the over on that game. I was surprised the Caps actually played as well as they did. They got a lot of big guys there, and they cause you problems. They're a big team and a fast team, but their lower lines just don't have the skill level to keep up with Boston or many other teams as well. To me, Washington is a team that's going to beat up on the lower level teams, but are going to struggle against the better ones, especially better ones that are bigger as well, that have some size on them too, that can keep up with them physically a bit. And then they're going to really struggle also with teams that play high possession game like Minnesota. So, but tell me, what do you guys think? Where is Edmonton going to get a goaltender from if Fleury is not available? I heard Hudobin. Really? That's what you're going to hang your hat on, is Hudobin? Maybe if Hudobin gets away from Rick Bowness, he'll start getting back to where he was before. Because ever since that incident happened with Rick Bowness, it hasn't been good there for Hudobin. But right now, they might not have a choice. Right now, against Detroit today, I don't know, back to back. Ottinger has struggled as of late, which really blew my mind. I guess that's why they sent him down. I guess they knew what they were doing. I don't know. I'm really surprised Ottinger did that. Oh, probably. He probably, is Holtby going to be going to help you that much with that defense? I don't think so. That's probably a guy that they're going to grab, yeah. Holtby or no, it's I don't think they want to trade Holtby. I think they want to trade Hudobin. I think until Ottinger shows that he's ready, Holtby will stay there. Hudobin is the odd man out, I think. Yeah, probably. Do you think what other goaltenders were they talking about out there? Like Jones, isn't it? People keep on talking about Mrazek. No, definitely not Mrazek. Definitely not Mrazek. Oh yeah, there was, Samsonov. No, he's not going to do it. Halak apparently wants to stay in Vancouver, and I don't think he's good enough either. Like, there's really nobody out there. They can get some goaltenders that are better than what they got, but I don't think there's anybody that's going to put them over the top. Mrazek in Edmonton is too good, yeah. I sense the sarcasm there in your voice. Mrazek in Edmonton would be, I don't know, how many bad decisions have to happen before I just mail it in with the Edmonton Oilers? The sad part about you saying that, Lauren, is that it wouldn't surprise me. Like, it wouldn't surprise me that they get Mrazek. It wouldn't surprise me at all. The best I would say, and that would really only be this would really only be if the Islanders are out of the playoffs. Maybe Varlamov. And I don't think Varlamov is going to be as good of a goaltender in Edmonton as he is in the Island, where they play a much better defensive system. Like, much better defensive system. I just don't see that happening. They go after Matt Murray. Oh, God. Good thing they don't have the cap room for that. I don't know. I still think Matt Murray can be a good goaltender. With Matt Murray, I think it's all his head. It's just maturity. Like, to me, I think Matt Murray's going to be one of those guys that, at 27, 28, he reconnects with himself and, grows a maturity level and, goes back to being freaking amazing again. But does that help the Oilers now? No. That doesn't help the Oilers now. So everything is a patchwork right now. Like, after talking about all of this right now, after going over all of this, I think I'm at a loss. I think maybe go for Hudobin. Hudobin maybe will bring. Hudobin's a funny guy. He's God, I hope not. You like the interest in Korpisalo in Edmonton? Korpisalo has been bad, though. The defense is what they need. Defense is what they need. And a goaltender, too. Don't get me wrong. Their goaltending's poor. But maybe Hudobin. I mean, let's face it. None of these moves are going to put you... Getting Hudobin does not make you a cup contender. Right? So... And he's got $3 million on his contract this year and next year. The only guy that might be able to do that for you is Fleury. Hope that Chicago is terrible and that he'll go to Edmonton. That'll be the big two things there. And then add to that defense. Just no doubt about it. Add to that defense. I don't want Barry to be injured bad. Of course not. But it looks like he got hurt possibly pretty bad. That would give the Oilers cap room, if they got to put him on the long-term injured reserve, to go after a top defenseman. How many goalies right now that can steal you a game or two? I think there's quite a few, but to do it on a regular basis, not too many. I mean, Anderson can steal you a game or two, but he's not really a goaltender that's going to do that over and over again. Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Demko. Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, and Demko could probably do it more than any other guy, and Fleury. Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Demko, Fleury. Am I missing anybody here? I probably am, but that's just off the top of my head. Mrazek can do it. Yeah. I mean, these are all NHL goaltenders. Look, Hauser did it for Buffalo. Does that mean that I would put him... I mean, any NHL level goaltender can get hot in a game. But to do it on a regular basis... Mrazek, okay, being that said, Mrazek, when he's hot, he's really hot. And when he's not, he's really not. This year, Campbell's been able to do it at a pretty good pace. Detroit signs Justin Abdelkader. Oh, I think that was to a minor league contract because he's going to go to the Olympics. So he's playing in the AHL for a while to get his legs to play in the Olympics. Campbell can do it right now, yeah. So I would say you could put Campbell in there. It won't be long before I think you could put Sorokin in there, but I can't put him there yet, I don't think. Who else? Who else? Who else? Later can, but he doesn't do it often enough to put him in that role. Salo. How about Salo? Salo can. Gibson can. Those are the guys you want. That's why there's like 5 or 6 goaltenders that you could say right now on a consistent basis can steal a game for you. And then all the other ones are very good. And they'll keep you in the game, but they're not necessarily going to like get totally outshot and steal the game. Like Jari doesn't really do it because Pittsburgh plays so well defensively. He never has to. Blackwood did. I don't know what the heck's going on with Blackwood. Yeah, he can, but what happened to him, man? Blackwood, is there any more inconsistent goaltender than Blackwood? When he's when he's hot, he is freaking insane. And when he's not, he is like, there's no in between with that dude, it seems. He's one or the other. Okay, Ranta's not traveling with the team. Well, that'll be interesting to see what he does. Spencer Martin, yeah, is in goal for Vancouver, and that's a big question mark. Have you noticed that when you have this guys that come in, like Spencer Martin and guys like that, the first game they usually do really well because the team doesn't know them. The team doesn't know them well enough. Like they never played against them. But he's 26 years old. This has been the first year he really had a good year in the AHL. I do believe this is the first year he's had a good year in the AHL. Oh, what's going on with my Cap Friendly here? My Cap Friendly's not popping up for some reason. Oh, who's that? An AHL player got a 30-game suspension? Wow, I'll look that up in a second. What the heck did they do? And why hadn't we heard of it? Cap Friendly's changed all their Why the heck are they doing recent trades? Cap Friendly's doing something with their site. I can't get on anything here. What's going on? That's weird. Huh. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, Nashville shows up. Rangers? Yeah. Why nothing on Vancouver? Anyways, apparently I can't see Vancouver on Cap Friendly. It won't pop up. I have no idea. Oh, Gorgiev is in net. Apparently Shesterkin got hurt again. I'll try to look that up if Cap Friendly will let me do that sort of thing. Weird. Cap Friendly has changed their whole... No, he's there. They didn't play Toronto last night, right? They played Toronto the night before. Yeah, they played Toronto the night before. I don't know. I'm taking Carolina, though, because of that. Yeah, I don't know why. And he's not injured. Shesterkin's not injured, so they're just playing Gorgiev. I don't know why. There's no, if you look up, yeah. Oh, that's why. Wow, weird. They're on a back-to-back, and they're going to play Arizona tomorrow. So they're playing Gorgiev against Carolina, and they're going to play Shesterkin against Arizona. So no, he's not a great goalie. I'm probably going to go with the Islanders there. But that other guy, Vejmelka, he's turning into the freaking Hasek or something, man. I mean, Arizona's getting outshot like ridiculous, and nobody can get anything past them. But like Dominic Hasek as well. Remember when Dominic Hasek played, and you would always keep on saying like, "Go high." What Vejmelka's the same thing. He seems to be susceptible up high, but nobody ever goes high on the guy. It's crazy. So Arizona, so New York Rangers are putting Gorgiev in against Carolina, which may be the best team in the league. And apparently, it would seem, are going to put Shesterkin in against Arizona on a back-to-back. Because they're, what, afraid of Vejmelka? That much? And I could almost I can almost see it. That Vejmelka guy is just being incredible. Well, I mean, Wedgwood isn't really that great. He started off well there. What was it? What's the other one? Vejmelka and then that Provitsov guy. But where they found Vejmelka, I have no idea, man. Right out of left field. He was a 5th overall pick, and somebody identified him to give him a shot, and the guy has just been absolutely insane. Oh, you're talking about Vejmelka. I don't know. He was a 5th overall pick, I believe, or 5th, not overall, 5th rounder. Look it up here. He's 25 years old already. He was drafted 5th overall by Nashville in 2015. His numbers in Czechia were okay, but not great. And somehow they saw something in this guy, maybe a way like raw talent or whatever, and they figured their goalie coaches could get something out of him. And the guy's just face has been, especially like the last couple of games, the guy's been lights out. Insane. Kyle Turris on waivers, finally. Oh my gosh, finally. And remember, somebody was asking, was it you that was asking of that race fan that, bring up Seth Griffith, bring a different energy to the team? Kyle Turris on waivers. Nobody's going to touch Kyle Turris. But just put him in the... Put Kyle Turris in the taxi and never take him out. That's it. Enough already. I don't want to see that guy on the ice ever again. It's horrible. He's been horrible for a long time. Like, how much of a rope do you give these guys? Do you give a guy when you're in a losing streak and they keep on grabbing him and then putting him up on the top line every once in a while? And, it's just ridiculous. No, Vejmelka's not getting traded. No way. It was ridiculous. So, I don't know. Were you in here when I was talking about the Oilers and what they're going to do? I would say that the best plan, I mean, Hudobin's got 2 years at $3 million. That's going to be the problem. 30-game suspension too. Yeah, but we were talking before, race fan. Yeah, I mean, at this point, why not? As long as his attitude has changed, or, what? Bring him in. I know we need defense, but he's a 35-goal scorer playing with McDavid, and just try to outscore the crap out of everybody and get a goaltender that can stop pucks a little bit and, maybe make it in the playoffs. But the hockey guy said, Shannon said what, John Weichel? A 30-game suspension. I was going to look that up, but I didn't. Christoph Harabek. For racist gesture. Oh. American Hockey League has suspended San Jose Barracuda forward 30 games for making a racial gesture at Tucson Roadrunners left wing to Boko Imama during a game last week. Okay. So he made a racist gesture, whatever that was. The Melka getting traded, that's what the hockey guy says? Shannon? I'd like to, maybe, I don't get to listen to Shannon much anymore, but did he have a logic behind that, or did he say that? Did he have a logic as to why Vemelka would get traded? Did he have a source or something? Because I wouldn't be trading that guy. How to end your career for 1,000? He'll probably play again. I don't know what that must have been some kind of, I don't know. But Vemelka getting traded, I just don't think that's a logical move. I know they want to lose. Maybe Shannon's reasoning for that is that he's too good, and they're not going to be able to get first round picks having a guy stop pucks like that. I suppose. Maybe that's what he was saying. But at this point, I don't think he has enough of a sample size to get all that much for him. I mean, if he is getting traded, yeah, the Edmonton Oilers better be on the phone, and I'll get my first up in a second. It's possible he's just on a heater, and they know that their league is going to catch up to his weaknesses, and this would be selling high. That's possible. I would not. I don't find Holtby to be that great of a goaltender. I don't know what everybody sees in Holtby. If you look at his numbers, he's one of those hot. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, guys. But a lot of people love him. Well, yeah, goaltender's value. The only reason, yeah, like I think that maybe you could see that happening. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not a Hopi guy, Race. So if you are, that's cool. But oh yeah, but he's better than what we got. Yeah. Honestly, though, if we don't fix the defense, we gotta get an upper echelon top goaltender. If we don't fix the defense, and even if we do fix it a little bit, I mean, is Holtby really going to take you to the promised land? No, I mean, this is the reason why people say, well, you get the goaltender later or whatever the case may be. When you can get guys like Askarov and in Minnesota got that guy last from Sweden. You get those guys in the first round. I'm all over it, man. Why play around with goaltending? If you gotta find, if you can find an upper echelon, top 5, 6 goaltender, you can. The rest of your issues don't seem so bad. But when you've got poor defense like Edmonton does, and you don't have one of those guys, it seems like a mountain you can never get over. Yeah, it is. Their defense is just bad. Hall is a locker room cancer. Maybe he was in Carolina, something happened there, but he seems to be doing all right in Boston. In a room where uh, they are pretty sticky about people having attitudes. So, I'm not sure about that. It seems like they're pretty sticky about it, anyways. Josh Manson, now that's a name that's come up. And now that you start seeing Anaheim move, show that they're not there yet. It doesn't appear to be, anyways. I wonder now if they're going to be back on the train of possibly trading some of those veteran guys. Probably not, though. I think the youth there has showed enough that they think that they can make a run for it. It's going to be difficult to see. Anyways, we haven't even talked much about the games yesterday. Uh, Stars versus Sabres, and Dell was finally Dell. Uh, and, and again, there was a good example where Holtby really didn't play well in this game. The Stars outshot the Sabres 47-24. And the Sabres have been getting outshot every single game. They've just been getting some timely scoring at the right times. Jack Quinn scored his first NHL goal last night and then promptly was injured. I'm going to put you up so I can see y'all. And then was injured after that, so he's out. But I didn't watch all of that game. I kept on flipping back to it, though. Buffalo was up 3-1, and then Dallas was outplaying them the whole way. Unfortunately, Holtby let in some softies. Yeah, Dallas did let their guard down defensively a little bit, but Holtby really could have kept them in, but didn't. But they bounced back. Tyler Seguin finally got his 11th, which is not very much for a guy making $9 million a year. And that's really the crux of the problem here in Dallas, is their top paid players are not playing well enough. Seguin did top pot 2 last night. But Jamie Benn, where is he offensively for a guy getting paid what he is? They managed to come back, and they did fight back. But again, it's against the Buffalo Sabres. You got to be beating that team right now. That team is too young. It's halfway through the season. A lot of those guys are pretty beat up right now. It's not all that impressive of a night to win 5-4 against the Buffalo Sabres. And Yanni Hakanpää played only 11 minutes. I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking that Hakanpää may not be in the league next year. Seguin's not really having a down year. He really hasn't had a good year for a while. And then after that injury and stuff like that, he's only getting half a point a game right now. He's not having a great year, no. Especially for the amount of money he's making, he's not having a great year. He's a good player, but he's getting paid to be a great player, and he's not. Jason Robinson potted another one last night. Fortunately for them, they got guys like Jason Robertson knocking out of the park this year. From Seguin and Pavelski, gets the winning goal on the PP. And Holtby got let four in on 20 shots. And Dell actually stopped 5 of 47 shots. Not too shabby. He's played probably the best he's played in his career in a very long time. Might even get a chance to go somewhere after this when they start getting some guys back. I don't know. He's on league minimum, so maybe they just keep him around. But Not an impressive win by Dallas. Dallas has been on a bit of a slide. I'm going to come out and say they don't make the playoffs this year. Not much of a stretch to say that, I guess. But Dahlin is showing improvement. A lot of their players are showing improvement. Yoki Haru is playing really well there as well. The Blue Jackets and Flyers, what a snore fest that was. My gosh. Basically, which team was going to make you fall asleep the least in this game last night? There was a lot of shots, but they were all pretty boring shots. They were just from the outside. Patrick Laine potted another one. He got a sixth from Jenner and Kukan. And we were talking about that, and I just get a feeling he's going to sign in Columbus. I just think so. I think Kekalainen will sell him that they're going to be a good team there in Columbus, and I wouldn't be surprised if they become a good team very quickly, like I've said before. Need a lot of help on D though. And the Philadelphia Flyers, I mean, they just got more bad news. Farabee's out now too. They really have nobody in the lineup. Great for Mayhew, a guy who's been trying to fight to find his way into the NHL for a long time. He's getting his opportunity now, making some NHL money. But overall, this team is just poop. And now you take Farabee out on top of it. Will Yandel finally get his freaking games played stuff so we can end the drama nonsense that, out of all the guys that have a game played streak, Yandel's is kind of just ugly. He's been so soft his whole career. It just doesn't smell right. It's like, okay, fine, you got it. All right. Like, is anybody really celebrating that for Yandel? He's soft as porridge. Big cannoli. Leaf sneak Klingberg. I was talking about that. I just did the. Are you subbed up, Big Cannoli? I hope you are. I just did the Klingberg traded to 5 teams, and the Leafs were one of them. And I sent it out to Leafland, and I did not get a very good response. He is kind of another soft player on a team that really could use some size. But I think him playing around alongside Muzzin would be not too shabby. But on the other hand, I do see what they mean, where they really need some size on D. The guys they're talking about, though, like Sherratt and stuff like that, they're not much better defensively, if any, than Klingberg. And Klingberg brings all that offense to go with it. So size on defense is great to have, but you want guys that can play too. And those guys are expensive to find. Who would you give up, Big Cannoli? Okay, bud. Who would you give up for Klingberg? I had a package where it was whole, and a whole and a second and like a prospect or something like that. I don't even know. It's hard to put a value on him because he's a rental, right? He's going to be a rental probably for Toronto. I don't think they'd be able to afford to keep him. And there might be a team out there that could afford to re-sign him, and they may be willing to give up a little more. And if that's the case, I think Toronto would be out of the running unless they're going to drop a first. The team that drops the first for Klingberg will probably get him. If they're going to drop a first, whole, and something like that, they might get him. Now, I brought it up to the Dallas people, and the Dallas guy said, one Dallas guy brought up a really good point. that if they're going to trade him, their best value would probably be a winger. Yeah, I mean, you can put Dermott in there. Like, if I'm Dallas, I'm like, no, I have no use for Dermott. So, Hole and Dermott, I don't really have much use for Hole either. I wouldn't be doing this deal at all. I certainly wouldn't do it for Hole and Dermott myself. But, I mean, other general managers do what they do. But I don't like either one of those guys. They're both, Hole is a 5'6". Dermott's barely a player, a guy that would make the roster. I don't like it. Yeah, it's a B-level prospect, so I think somebody's giving up a first, man. I have a feeling somebody's going to give up a first plus. And if Toronto is not going to pony up something really with some meat on it, not just guys, like a lot people will look at their roster and they'll look at guys that they could afford to lose. Well, if you can afford to lose them, the other team probably can afford to not take them too. So it's going to have to be something for, I think, I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be something you're going to give up something you don't want to give. Honestly, do you care if you lose Hole or Dermott or a middle round pick, or you know what I mean? You know. So why? So does Dallas care if they get them? Probably not. Now that would completely depend, I suppose, on how many people are in on Klingberg. If they don't have any leverage, if there's not too many people out there that are willing to take them, then okay. But I just think there's going to be quite a few teams that are going to be interested in Klingberg. And then the other part of me that wonders, how good is Klingberg really? Like, he is a pretty soft guy. He's not all that great defensively, and he's not like stupendous offensively either. And he's 29 years old. He's got a good first pass out of the zone. He can skate the puck out pretty well. I mean, he's better than a guy like Barrie, better than a guy like Leddy. He's certainly better than both Dermott and Hole, that's for sure. But is he so good that you want to drop a first? I don't know. I mean, Christian Rubens, let me look it up. Like, first of all, I don't know his name right off the top of my head, so I'm probably going to be like, if I don't know his name right off the top of the head, on my head, it's probably not going to be a very good thing. Go check out Cap Friendly. They changed all their stuff around. I don't know what the heck they're doing. It's annoying. I like the way it was before. Rubens. Yeah, he's like a B-level prospect. And he's in the minors. How old is he? He's 24 already. He put up 4 points in 25 games in the AHL. Yeah, no. No, they're not going to have any interest in that. I doubt it very much. Whole end of forward. Cap, depending on the forward. Depending on the forward. Like, if you watch my I did a trade video on it. I think I had Hole, a second, and a prospect. Something like that. The teams that are going to be looking at him, I would think. Why is this doing this? Who did I have? Winnipeg Jets. Who did I have? Washington Capitals, maybe. The Florida Panthers. The Edmonton Oilers. You know, and if any one of those teams offered up a first, I think that would probably do it. First plus something, or maybe. No, that's not going to do it. Engvall, wait. Engvall's a fourth liner. Richie was already on waivers. Why would they want that? No. Unless they, for some reason, really like Hole, and I don't know why you would. No. Hole, Engvall in a second. Maybe. If for some reason they really like Engvall, or like Engvall more than I do, they're going to have to like them more than I do for some reason. And, I mean, like I said, we've seen over and over again. Well, of course, yeah, because that's what I mean. Like, you're not going to want kind of a bad way to look at your team trading for somebody by going down the list of teams of players you don't want. Because if you don't want them, they probably don't want him either. So you're going to have to give Toronto will have to give up something that will hurt a little bit at least. The second, Hole makes sense in a sense because he's a righty. He can fill the 5-6 spot now, and they're a team that's kind of in a playoff push. Engvall, I don't know why they would like him. But the big thing they're going to want in that is a draft pick. And if you're looking like Florida, let's look at Florida as a possibility that he goes there. I think Florida's going to be looking for a right side D this year. And they're not going to show me Florida either. What is going on with Cap Friendly? Driving me crazy. Is this happening on the freaking... Is this happening on the phone too? Cap Friendly. Wow, Cap Friendly is just pissing me off here. I don't know what they're doing. They're working on their site or something, I hope. They should tell you that. Jeez. Okay, Florida Panthers. No, Florida doesn't show up on the site. Not even on my phone. So I don't know. I was gonna look at Florida, but yeah, I don't think anybody's gonna take too much of that into consideration when they're making the trade. Engvall is like maybe on most teams he may be a 13th or 14th forward. If you look at Dallas, if they'll let me look at Dallas, I don't know. Oh. If you look at the Dallas Stars, and you put, if they let me look at the Dallas Stars, no, I can't look at the Dallas Stars either. That is freaking nuts. What's going on with them? Maybe you got to pay now. You guys go check out Cap Friendly and tell me if the same thing is happening to you. I can't look up any of the teams or anything. I can't look up any of the teams or anything. I don't know. You guys are all probably checking it out right now. So I don't. I guess I got to find some other way. NHL depth charts. Okay. Let's see if this works. Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars. Oh, there it comes up. Look at that. Okay. So yeah, you said, oh, okay, the site's just having problems. Okay. Engvall. Engvall is what, a right winger? He can play both sides, I think. He can play up the middle, but he doesn't do any of them very well. What spot is he going to take? Is he going to take Luke Glendenning's spot? Maybe Joel Kiviranta. He's basically a depth forward in Dallas. He probably wouldn't play in the lineup much. He'd be in and out of the lineup. Hole, if they trade Klingberg, he's gonna take Klingberg's spot with Lindell, and that's a downgrade. So, and then you got to give up a first for that. You just gotta. If you look at Florida now, we'll see what they could offer. Okay, he's going to take, when everybody's healthy, Gustav Forsling is a lefty. He's going to bounce Radko Gudas down to the... So they could offer Montour, who is a better player than Hull. And possibly they've got quite a few prospects that they could offer up. that are better than what anything Toronto can offer up. And I believe, oh, okay, wait a second. And I'm pretty sure they got a first or a second they could throw into that too. So if you got a team like Florida really interested, they're probably going to beat you to the punch. If you offer up something like that, they're probably not going to listen to you. That's what I'm trying to say. Just they got enough people watching the players on the ice. Like you watch Engvall on the ice, he's a very, very borderline NHL player. Is he going to be better if he leaves Toronto? I suppose, but I mean, you're rolling the dice pretty good when all he's really shown you is a borderline ability to play in the NHL. So I don't think you're going to get much. Long story short, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think I even put something like that in there. I was really struggling with what the return would be. It completely depends on how much people want him. And the more I think about it, the more I do believe there's going to be a team drop a first. This isn't a super deep draft. It could be the Florida Panthers that say, okay, fine, we'll give you our first, which is a late first, for them to have a guy who can take a lot of the offense off of Ekblad's hands and have a pretty solid pairing there on the second pairing there. Maybe even, like I said, they've got Montour is a better player than Hull. So even if they offer Montour up, and Dallas is in that weird position where they could make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. If at the deadline they're in a playoff spot, that owner is, they're going to have to get either somebody back. And the other thing I heard is that they could, like I said, look for a winger. Apparently Carolina gave him a call because they had some injuries. I don't know what they were thinking. Like, oh, can we give you a second for them or something like that? Knowing it's worth a shot, I suppose, but there's no way they're going to give up they're going to give him away for a second round pick. It's possible they were offering Niederreiter. And for Dallas, that might make some sense in a way because Niederreiter comes off the books too. And if for some reason they can work out a contract with Niederreiter, and I don't know what Niederreiter does to wear out his welcome on teams. Do you know, Lauren? What does Niederreiter do? Is he a loner in the room or something? What is it? As far as I can tell on the ice, he's a good two-way guy that puts up 40 to 55 points a season, and he looks okay on the ice to me. But for some reason, he wears out his welcome every single place he goes. I don't know what it is. Quite often, that can be the case with guys that are loners. They don't hang out with the team. They just like their what do they call that? Introverts. And, you're trying to build team chemistry. They just show up for practice, go play the games, and then go back to their hotel rooms or to their homes, and they don't hang out with anybody or anything like that. Sometimes it can be just really quirky personalities or very opinionated people or something like that. But I'm not sure. I don't know Niederreiter with a hole in the wall, so I can't say why. But he found his way out of the island when he was just young. And they were like looking to trade him for quite a while before they sent him to Minnesota. And then in Minnesota, they were trying to trade him a couple times before they finally did. Goes to Carolina, has a contract coming up. And maybe he's just asking too much, or is the same thing over and over again here. But for Dallas, when you got a guy that is on, unless he's going to re-sign with the team, his value isn't as high as it should be because he's a rental. Getting a guy like Niederreiter may be the best they can do. So Keaton Holmes, okay, I don't know. Oh yeah, never mind. That's some bot or something like that. All right, well, Thursday. Is there anything out about yesterday? Oh, Pittsburgh Senators. Senators made a crazy comeback at the end there. Gustafsson was in net. He took the loss. He took over for Forsberg. They tried to make a crazy comeback, which you don't see too often. But that Pittsburgh team, man, it is dialed in. Nashville versus the Jets. I was surprised the Jets didn't have more in them than they did. This Nashville team shouldn't surprise me ever, though. Really, it's pretty impressive the work ethic of this team. They're doing it by committee. They fight for each other. They play for each other. This team is playing heavy as a team. Oh, Saros stole the game for them. The Jets outshot them 38-23. That's right. And Nashville potted a couple kind of good bounce goals early, but they're finding ways to get it done all the time. They're finding ways to get it done all the time. Granlund, Ryan Johansson, Eli Toivonen, Luke Kunin. It's very seldom one guy scoring all the goals on this team. It's usually like totally by committee type team. Ryan Johansson looks like he could be close to 25 goals this year. And it's impressive to watch. They find ways to win every single time. They got a great energy. They have a positive, looks like they have a really good positive view of where they are as a team and where they're going. And they play the plan and they fight for each other. They play for each other like nobody's business. Jeannot is turning out to be one of my favorite players in the NHL right now. I just freaking love watching that guy. He's like a poor man's Marchand. And Duchesne, of course, found a new life there. It's impressive to watch this team. And that's a game that the Winnipeg Jets need to play. And they haven't found it yet. They haven't totally found it yet. Panthers, Oilers, we talked about that. Avalanche, Kings. This Avalanche team almost seems to coast to the they almost seem to coast through games. It's crazy the talent they have. I watched a little bit of that game. It was kind of boring to watch. The Kings outshot them like crazy, though. But they have so much talent that if they get an opportunity, it's in. Mikko Rantanen potted another one. Kiefer Sherwood got one. Aube-Kubel potted another one. Look at the Philadelphia Flyers put Aube-Kubel on waivers. He goes to Colorado and he's putting up some pretty decent numbers and playing some pretty good hockey. But honestly, they didn't really have much. They shouldn't have really won this game, except that LA still has this game where they take shots from what's not low from areas of the ice where it makes it easy for the goaltender to save. They don't get into the high risk areas yet. They take a lot of perimeter shots and stuff like that. And it seemed like Colorado kind of knew that and just said, we're going to let you do it. We're just going to make sure your shots are not in the core areas where you can score. And we're not going to worry too much about the shot totals today. Quentin Byfield played. He had 3 shots on goal, played 15 minutes. I didn't really notice him out there when he played, so that's not really a good thing, I suppose, for a big guy like that. Drew Doughty has been kind of struggling this year. Anyways, those were the games from last night. Oh no, Montreal, Vegas. That's right. And I went to bed before this game started. Stone was out. Stone was out, and Kemper, or sorry, not Kemper. Kraken versus Sharks. That was. I didn't watch any of that game, so I'm not going to talk much about it. But I did watch some of the Golden Knights and Canadiens game, and all of a sudden the Canadiens are playing with a little pushback. That the big story is Malton Boo stopping 47 of 49 shots. The guy seems to have figured it out. Huge goaltender. And I don't know if he's going through a heater right now or if he is going to be what they always thought he was going to be up until this point. Because the guy was stopping everything last night. Montreal didn't have much, they shouldn't have been really in this game. Vegas was owning them pretty good last night. But Malton Bull just kept on stopping shot after shot after shot. Good, solid shots to high-risk shots. And Vegas overmatched them. No doubt about it. They should have had a better fate than they did. But Malton Bull is a story there. And Lehner, again, did not have a solid outing again. It's starting to get a little worrisome for Lehner. DeBrincat on the block? No. I was just reading this thing where they said that, that's funny though, CL. Apparently the management there did come out and say that Jones, Kane, and Taves were untouchable, but they never mentioned Brinkat in that. Where were you getting that from, CL? That he might be on the block. That's interesting. I never even thought. I read that article out, and they said that, but they didn't say that. Did you hear that somewhere, or are you just asking? While you're thinking about that, I'm going to bring up the games for tonight. The Rangers and Hurricanes, and for some reason the Rangers are putting Georgiev in. Maybe that's because they know the Hurricanes are going to put Ranta in. Maybe that's it. Line hasn't changed. I think they said they were putting Anderson in already. Yeah, Frederik Anderson's likely. So it's a big mystery as to why they're putting Georgiev in against the Hurricanes. And then going to put Shesterkin in against Arizona. I suppose they figure they might as well make sure they got the Arizona game. Because they're on a back to, no, they're not on, because I guess that would be it. If they happen to lose to Carolina with Shesterkin in net, they should crush the crap out of the Coyotes, who are also on a back-to-back. Maybe that's their logic here. But either way, I am going to go with Carolina tonight with Georgiev in. I like Rangers team, and they could win this game because they're fighting right now. They're playing a game that, a gallant type game, I guess you could say. I saw it on Facebook. You don't remember the site, though. They said that Kubalik, Hagel, and Hagel could be. So it seems like they're getting rid of all their small players. And Farabee's on now, yeah. So it seemed like they want to get rid of all their small players. Kubalik and Hagel. Wow. So they're talking about restructuring their whole. I don't know what they're doing in Chicago then. DeBrincat is a freaking killer. I don't know. I wouldn't want to trade that. If they do trade him, my gosh, there'll be a lineup of people looking for him for sure. So they're not rebuilding. They're going to trade their young players and get different young players. My thinking is that they're looking to get big. Let's, for the heck of it, play that out. I mean, look at the guys that they're looking to trade. They're not very big guys. They want a big team. They did say they had a different philosophy. Maybe that's a different philosophy. 6 foot, 175 Hagel. He plays tough, though. He plays a good, solid, tough game. Let's trade him, Risto. Yeah, there you go. Here's your big guy. That's true. Kubalik, he's big, but he plays soft. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Where the heck would he go? I'd have to hear more. I just can't believe that they're going to trade DeBrincat. I guess they figure they have Kane. That's small enough. Just for poops and giggles, though. Who's got big players they can trade them? That it wouldn't be too small in getting them, but have, what about, oh man. What about Colorado? Colorado's a pretty small team, though, too. See, now here's something. Valerie Nichushkin. I bet you if you went to Colorado and asked for Valerie Nichushkin for DeBrincat, I bet you they would say no. Because you're looking at team makeup here, and they are not a very big team. Besides their, like Rantanen, Landeskog plays big. McKinnon, believe it or not, is only a 6-foot guy. Yeah, Kadri, Logan O'Connor. Like, this is not a big team. Philadelphia, I mean, don't they really need to get bigger too in a way? But But Ristolainen, no, I don't know if they would be that silly. Ristolainen hasn't really improved all that much in Philadelphia. Makes it different. This is the reason why it always seems to go back to size, right? Like, it always goes back to size. Getting big, fast players is hard to find. And having too many small players, just Detroit had to bulk up. They had to go out and get some guys for size. Calgary? No. See, if you try to go, okay, we're going to take DeBrincat and we're going to go out and get size on the wings. It's not easy to find size on the wings that can score. It's hard to find guys that can score, let alone size on the wings that can score. And I think DeBrincat's got a pretty solid contract too, doesn't he? Chicago, or sorry, Boston. Now there's a good example. Okay, DeBrusque maybe. I mean, you keep on. They don't really need a righty, but imagine DeBrincat to in Boston with Marchand and Bergeron. So what wing is he? You got me intrigued now. I'm really intrigued now with what Chicago's going to do. He's a lefty. Oh, he can play left or right. Oh my gosh. He can play left or right, and he's got 23 goals in 39 games. He's basically running on a 45 goal pace. And they're going to trade him at 24 years old? He's just a little guy, but he plays a lot bigger than that. 6.4 million. Yeah, Boston's in trouble with Marchand out for sure. Somebody else too, wasn't it? Just I'm going to grab a coffee, guys. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. That was a very intriguing. I don't know. I did say I do think that Chicago is going to be the most interesting team to watch this year. Who's their general manager again? I wonder. They're getting now. Okay, they've changed the site on where you can't. They don't show you their salary stuff. I think they're going to make. I think they're going to make it. I think they're going to start charging you on Cap Friendly now. You know, they can. Nick Ritchie's going to end up going on waivers. Nobody's going to give you anything for Nick Ritchie. Pretty positive. It's really bugging me. Starting golden, player statuses. Huh. Huh. Yeah, they don't. They're not. Something's wrong with the site or something. I don't know. What's that? Nick Farkey. Like I said, why would they want him back in Boston? They didn't want him when he was in Boston. So Nick Ritchie's going nowhere. You got Nick Ritchie. You're gonna have to live with them. That's pretty much it. The only way they get rid of Nick Ritchie is if they actually give a pick. If they actually gave a draft pick to a team to take Nick Ritchie, I think. That's about the only way they can. The only way they get rid of Nick Ritchie is if they trade a pick to somewhere to make cap space. And by the way, I think that's what Edmonton should do too. I think Edmonton should look at maybe finding a player or two they can trade to Arizona or something and staple a second round pick to it so they got cap space. Yeah, maybe. I don't even know what Toronto has for picks. That's the thing is I can't see because of cap friendly what their picks are. It's really bugging me. They better have that fixed by tomorrow. Cap friendly is freaking awesome, and if they make me pay for it, I'll probably end up having to do it. They're that good. If I were them, I probably would charge for that for cap friendly for what they offer, because if they had to do it, if they did it, they'd do it. But I think maybe the Edmonton Oilers should do that. I don't know who it would be now off the top of my head. Maybe like Cassian. Trade Cassian to Arizona and staple a pick to him or something like that. But I think they should do that. Toronto might have to do that with too if they want to have cap space to improve. What I think Toronto needs more than anything, Derek Ryan, yeah. What I think Toronto needs more than anything though is forward depth. They need a guy like Ritchie that was what they thought they were getting when they got Ritchie. Like a guy like in Edmonton, they got Fogle for Bear. Somebody like, they need guys like that, and especially a center like that, which is pretty tough to find. A guy like Boone Jenner in Columbus or something like that. It's like New York Islanders are not teams that are out of it that have like somebody like that. Uh, Maybe, I mean, to a lesser extent, Nick Bonino, a guy like that in Florida or in San Jose. Guys like that. They need guys like that. Guys that can punish the opposition. They need some punishing players. I think Carolina needs that too, to tell you the honest truth. But if they're going to win in the playoffs, they need to get some punishing players. I think. I think they can almost. They need some defensive depth, but I think more than anything, they need punishing players on that roster. Like, I can't say it any other way. Will they let me look at Toronto? Are they got... Oh, wow. Okay, I think they got it sorted out now. And they could trade Mikheyev. Like Pierre Engvall. What's he used to have in Pierre Engvall? No use. I think Kampf was a good pickup. Mikheyev, too soft. Although he's played well since he's come. He had 6 goals in 8 games. Really? Mikheyev did? Wow. Huh. I already brought him up. The guy that I think would be really, really good for Toronto is Lawson Crouse. But I have a feeling they don't want to trade Lawson Crouse in Arizona. I think they really like him there. I mean, he's so in and out of the lineup is a problem. It's hard to tell. Kasha's injured more often than not. Is he in now? See, he's out of the lineup right now, isn't he? Oh, they got him as a scratch. Yeah, he could have been a great player if it wasn't for all those injuries that he did to himself. But it looks like his injuries are going to do him in. Where the heck are you guys? There we are. But yeah, I think that's what they'll probably try to add. Somebody like him in Arizona would be very good for Toronto. The Oilers beat the Flames tomorrow. Okay. We didn't even talk about the games. Let's go over the games for tonight. I'll go over a little long here. We didn't even talk about the games for tonight yet. Okay, games for tonight predictions. Okay, that's a good prediction, buddy. I'll keep that in mind. I don't think the Oilers, their energy in that room is absolutely horrible. At this point, I probably want them to lose so they just finally do something and fire the coach, bring up that AHL guy, and get some defense. So if you got to keep on losing for that to happen, then keep on losing. Just keep losing. Tonight's game's Rangers versus Hurricanes. I'm taking the Canes with Georgiev and net, and the Rangers on a back-to-back. Canes are just... I love the Rangers right now, and I still think that they could win this game. They're playing their hearts out right now. And if it was against a lesser team, I probably would take the Rangers. But the Hurricanes can just pick you apart. And especially if they know if they sense even a little fatigue, they see blood and they're gonna eat you. And I think that's gonna happen tonight. Penguins versus Blue Jackets. I gotta go with the Penguins. I think they're putting DeSmith in, and I don't like that. But the Blue Jackets, I mean, they haven't really showed me anything that makes me think they can beat even a tired Penguins team. The Penguins play an articulate, systematic game. They're like a freaking boa constrictor. There's so many ways they can kill you. And as soon as they find your weakness, they're going to expose it over and over and over again until you fall over. And the Blue Jackets just don't have anything to combat that. The only thing I could say is that they should have better legs, the Blue Jackets. And if they come out all blazing in the first period, they could do some damage. But there's only one reason why the Oilers lost that game against Florida, and that's because of their goaltending. Florida plays the type of game that the Oilers can win against. Calgary might be able to see. The problem with the Oilers is if you dump and chase against the Oilers, they're screwed. The way to beat the Oilers is dump and chase. Dump and chase, dump and chase, dump and chase. So I could see Calgary doing that, winning that game, because they probably know that and they're pretty good at it. So you get a guy like Lucic coming down. I think Barry's injured, so I guess that won't matter. But just dump it and body check the living crap out of them. in the defense in their defensive end, and they're useless after that. So yeah, 6 goalie trade. I heard that. I don't know. All 6 goaltenders are not good enough for them to win a cup. Unless it's Fleury, don't even bother. If you're not going to make the defense better, you need Fleury. If you want to get a guy like Hudobin, they're going to have to make their the defensemen they have, they're going to need better players. Not those players to play better, because those players can't do what you need to do to play defense properly. They don't have the skill set. They need a better mix of defensemen than they have. And if they don't have that, really, I wouldn't even waste their time. The amount of time off they had. I mean, they outplayed Florida pretty much. They outskated Florida. Bobrovsky stopped everything. And Korpisalo stopped nothing. That was pretty much it, right? So, anyways, I got the Blue Jackets. I don't really have as much confidence in Merzlikins as most people do. Stars versus Wings. I'm gonna slide over to the Wings on this one just a little bit. They're getting plus money at home. Stars are on a back-to-back. Just got a feeling they might pull it out. I don't really like the game at all. Islanders versus Coyotes. With Wedgwood in, I'm going to go with the Islanders here. I think the Coyotes have been surviving on just like unconsciousness of the Melka. I don't really... They've been outshot most of the time. And the Islanders have a pop gun offense. So I could probably see an under here. Yeah, I like probably under and the Islanders. Wild versus Blackhawks. Until I see differently, I got to go the Wild. The Blackhawks have been playing better. I really don't like this game. I don't like to go against Fleury in any game, because I think Fleury can win a game 1 out of every 5, even if he's totally outshot. So I don't really like to go against Fleury in any game. And this is a back-to-back. Tomorrow's game, I'm all over the Wild. But today, I'm not really sure about that. Panthers versus Canucks. This is going to be a really tough game for the Panthers because it's their 3rd of the Western road trip. And they're going through a time zone where they're already gone through time zones to get out west. And now they're playing a back-to-back. And they did the Calgary... Didn't they do the Calgary to Edmonton to Vancouver? That's weird. It's actually annoying. Why wouldn't you go Edmonton? I guess the schedule wouldn't allow it. But Edmonton to Calgary to Vancouver would be a little better. But I think this is going to be a really tough game. Problem is, Canucks don't have Demko. They got a kid I don't know much about. And the Panthers are going to be playing Spencer Knight, who's been struggling a lot as of late. I'm not sure about that game. Slight lean to the Panthers. Probably Canucks plus 1.5 maybe. Lightning versus Ducks. Peter Mrazek playing tomorrow. That's almost a for sure win for whoever's playing. Lightning versus Ducks. I take the Lightning. Ducks don't have it anymore. It's over. It's over. And the Blues smashed the crap out of the Kraken with the cord in net. I think that's pretty much... That's about as much of a gimme as you can get, I think. That's about as much of a gimme as you can get. Anyways, that's my full 42, everybody. That's all I have to give. I'm going to see you on the Monday now. Thanks for coming in and enjoying this fine programming. It's always awesome to have everybody. John, and who's in the stream right now? John. That's it. See you, John. Thanks for listening, buddy. You're always there for me. Have a great day, everybody. I'll talk to you on Monday. Okay, bye.